Some women are simply born rich, confident, and naturally magnetic to their desires. Let's be clear, this podcast is not for them. However, if you're a soul-driven, visionary, or entrepreneurial woman who's been on a mission to learn how to create a better future bursting to come out of you, welcome to my world. I'm Jo Warwick, and this is Rich, Sexy, and Free. I've dedicated most of my career to helping women get to their core power and unlock the missing pieces for their own unique success. You may already know me as the author of The Big Book of Love. With 30 years experience in psychology, embodiment, manifesting, and energetics, we will be exploring together becoming rich, sexy, and free. So if this excites you, don't forget to like and subscribe on your favorite platform so you can stay up to date with the podcast. Hey, Jo Warwick here, and welcome to today's episode of Rich, Sexy, and Free. And today we're talking about slipping on your new wealth identity. Now, one of the big shifts that I've had this week is claiming who I really am. If you've watched Moana in any way, the whole story is about knowing your name, knowing who you are. And it's so true. When you know who you are, when you come back to your truth of who I am, and I actually sing along to one of the songs from Moana too at the moment, where she literally, I think, beyond, and she sings, "My name is Moana." And I was going, "My name is Joanna." And because knowing who you are at your core is about knowing who you are in your design. And when we are wanting to shift our wealth identity, it's about not changing who we are, but instead accepting who we really are. It's about slipping into a new frequency, but it's more importantly a frequency of who you really are. It's about shedding, not making something happen, which is often where people go wrong. They think it's about, oh, I have to become someone else. I've got to fix, sort, push, shove. I've got to become something, which is a teenage phase of your growth and early in your developmental stages, because growth on a physical level from a child to an adult is a pushing a growth like a plant coming out of the soil and growing to its next level. But psychologically, energetically, physically, and mentally, emotionally, once you've gone beyond that and stepping into a new wealth identity, stepping into a rich, sexy, and free version of yourself, stepping into the life that you want is not about pushing. And that's where we get wrong. It's programmed in our bodies to want to do that from a biological sense, but actually from a manifesting growth, expansion, more importantly, psychological development and energetic development. It's about shedding what is in the way, the behaviors that are in the way. Now, today I slipped into my 100K experience identity. This is an experience that I am dreaming, I'm accepting, I'm embodying for £100,000 to spend 3 days with me in a luxury resort, to fully embody, activate, claim, be the fullness of yourself as a millionaire, multimillionaire, etc. and beyond. This is my high ticket, high end claiming for myself. 100K to work with me. And I slipped into it, and I use the word slip because it was like slipping on a silk dress. There were so many things that it has been brewing to. And in fact, when I was thinking about it, writing about it, creating about it, it was the embodiment of my luxurious living millionaire mindset program. Now, that program itself, I think it's $111. And it's a starter program. It's one of my off the rack designs. Okay. And so it's taking that into a full embodiment. And when I was dreaming about how this would unfold, and I've talked about versions of it before, and I've been creating my VIP days, but this was the embodiment of a retreat, and it was for one-to-one or a very small group of 3 women. And it was like, oh my God, this is everything I know about ease and grace and expansion and luxurious and fully embodying. It wasn't about rushing. It was embodying everything I do about my delicious traveling around the world and all the things that I truly know make up such a beautiful experience, and that everywhere you turned you received what you need, which is absolutely in the luxurious living meditation. And it's such a great way of understanding that energy. And so I slipped it on. I was like, yes, this lights up my soul. This is resonating with my design. This is totally fucking right. And then I hit the reasons why it couldn't happen. And this is the reason I'm sharing it with you. When we are slipping on our new wealth identity, there are phases. There are phases that it has to become embodied. The first phase is visioning and energetic, and it's expanding beyond something you ever thought you could do. My off the rack designs, those programs that you can buy now, they were created as I went and shifted from stages of my normality, that I feel like I'm worthy and good enough and I can handle 5K a month. Oh, I'm worthy and I'm good enough and I can handle 10K a month. Oh, I'm worthy and I'm good enough and I can handle 30K a month. These were all the shifts of me embodying and expanding to these new levels of my wealth identity. And alongside that, it wasn't just about the money. It was about that I get to do it on my terms, that I get to live in my freedom, that I get to live in my full value and sexiness of my energy, that I get to each step of embodying, owning, claiming my human design as a projector. Every step I created these because this is what I've gone through. This is what I've shifted into, and this is what I had to clear. And then I sold them as products and programs for my clients who did exactly the same thing, but actually got faster results because they didn't have to go through the process. That's what I did. Inside the recent Success Factor, which you can buy as part of a bundle, it is an opportunity to dream beyond the vision, beyond the vision, beyond the vision. You get to a size where it's like, oh, I don't have to think about the hows. I don't have to think about the whys. I allow myself to expand in the fullness of myself, because it's our conscious brain that always wants to limit us. It wants to limit us to how's this going to happen? But that's not how working with the universe works. It's not with working how your design works in human design. It's not how it works in the fullness of yourself. And as I shared inside there are so many things that have happened to me in my life where if I had thought, oh my God, I need to know this exact way that it's going to happen when I boom, boom, boom. And if I had done that, it would never have happened. But things happened, from red carpets to 5 stars to Hollywood actors to reconnecting with friends to traveling the world to upgrades in hotels and flying, and to having a CD, being sold. It says how old that is. To being in shows, to being invited to things, to being accepted to places I never imagined, never even in a million years. But because I opened up to a frequency of a higher wealth identity, of an expansion that says, I'm fucking worth that. I can do that. I get to play alien. I get to play the real version of myself. I get to be in the fullness of myself, which is the essence of being a projector. But it's inside of all of us. My job is to help you know that and how to slip into your new wealth identity and embody her through your life so that you see the results. So that you're not trying to act out of like, this can only happen if I pick up this table and I move it to the other side of the room and that's how I get results. Or if I have to pick up this brick and then I build this house and that's how I get a house. We're not talking about that because we're in a totally different quantum field. We're working in a different way. We're in a space that says now, as women, we can do extraordinary things with the power that we always had inside of us. And that's what's really exciting. So in this journey of me slipping into this wealth identity, this 100K experience I want to share with these amazing women, and it's part of my new level of what I want to share and expand and own inside of my business, not just through my off the rack stuff, but more and more of my couture style work. Because one of the things I have claimed recently and been locking in and embodying me is I'm not a fucking coach. I am not a fucking mentor. I am not a psychotherapist. I'm none of these things anymore. I've been them. I've done them. I'm not a business coach anymore. What I am is a designer. What I am is the equivalent of a fashion designer, an interior designer for your inner mind, body, energy, and for locking in your rich, sexy, and free world. So you're going to hear me talk about it in these different ways because that is like a big fucking whole yes from my body, because I am a creator. I am a designer. I design pieces that activate you, transform you, lock it in. And some of those are off the rack, some of those are couture. My job is to help you create your own rich, sexy, and free life. Of course, we're talking about money and locking in that wealth identity that leaks and fully embodies out into every aspect of your life, you experience, but into your own business as well. And so, as I said, I slipped into this new outfit, this couture, and I was like, oh, feels heavenly, And yet, I then met the bullshit. Some of it was bullshit, and some of it was very true. So the true part was my body went, I'm not ready, I'm tired. And my body is tired. So I'm going through a transition. I'm literally going through a transition at this moment. Tomorrow, I'm letting go of where I've been living and stepping into where I want to be living in a new way. This locking in, this more traveling. So that's one thing that's going on. My body is shifting and changing, and it's having all of these upgrades. There's a shift going on from my energetic work, shadow work, upgrades. And I'm like, my body just needs to take a bit of time. So I'm like, that's not bullshit. That's honoring me. That's catching up. That doesn't mean I don't hold the frequency or the vibe, or that I can't do this, or I just need to be really honoring of taking the rest and the time and moving through with grace the transitions that are happening tomorrow and over the next few days and over the next few weeks. So that's fine, because that's ideal. I'm not at that stage. I want to land this. I'm not opening this up to buy it yet. I'm saying I can see where this is unfolding, maybe in the later end of this year. Fucking gorgeous. I could see that. September. Absolutely lovely. Sharing something that, we could do at the last quarter of the year. Amazing. And yet, even when I say that, I can still feel a bit like, and there was a bit of bullshit that came up. And this bullshit is shadow work. And this is really important. This is the shedding of your skin. Now, one of the things I did do first thing this morning is a meditation that I have inside my reset program, which is also part of this upgrade bundle of your wealth identity. I love this meditation. This is such a powerful meditation. It's beautiful for the year of the snake that we're in. It's about shedding your skin. It's shadow work. It's letting go of this identity and skin that doesn't match you anymore. It's a very powerful activation, etc. Now I'm having to do it on a mind level, because you have to let it go on an energetic level. You have to let it go on a mind level. You have to let it go through your body. There are 3 phases to shadow work and letting go of old identities that are holding you back. I've had to grieve a bit of this letting go, because this transition I'm going through, it's wrapped up with the loss of my dog on a physical level. And it's about letting go of ideas, dreams that I thought I had and things that I thought it was going to be, etc. But I'm always reminded over and over again of this beautiful cartoon I saw of a little girl who's holding a little teddy bear, and Jesus is kneeling down in front of her, and he's got a huge teddy bear behind her, and he's just saying, let go, give me the little teddy bear. And whatever your beliefs are, that vision for me was like, you can replace that with the universe, with God, with your higher self, with your inner goddess, whatever you want to be. But that thing of we hold on to something small that we've outgrown, a skin that doesn't fit, and the expansion of there's something so much bigger waiting for you that your conscious brain cannot comprehend, because it's your conscious brain that's holding on to the hows and the whys, and it wants to know how that's going to happen, and it wants to throw up the fears. So I come back to that vision from my soul, my heart, over and over again. And so I looked at some of the mind stuff that was happening. The mind stuff was wanting to say, but it's not possible, people won't buy. And yet I have women in my world, women in my community, women in my space who I know charge. One woman I know charges $500,000 to work with her for a year. There are people paying different levels of money for different level things. $100,000 is nothing for those people. But I also know that where I started, someone paying me $5,000 is a lot for some people. 20 grand is a lot for some people. So different levels of going, it's okay. But yet when I've worked in companies, you learn that companies easily invest. And somebody who's a good CEO will invest easily in 50 grand. It's about recognizing where you are on your journey. There's nothing wrong. And if we look into fashion, what would you pay for a couture outfit from Chanel, from Karl Lagerfeld, for a pair of Manolos? Where would you invest to even get something off the rack from Louis Vuitton? Where you're at, there's nothing wrong with it. But remember, there is something so much more. So much more. And that I know to be true for myself, having done this over and over and over and over again. And this pattern of expanding to the vision I can feel in my soul slipping it on, feeling into it, loving it and doing it, and then going through the same process over and over again, no matter what the money, no matter what the vision, no matter what the energy is. And now I have to line up my mind, body with that. I have to do that. And then my physical experiences, my choices, as I talked about last week on this podcast, making the choices around food and around clothes and things like that. These actions have to mirror the person you've locked in. Yeah. So it's kind of upgrading those phases. I have gone from absolutely dirt poor to where I am now. And it doesn't matter how you started your life. That's what this podcast is about. You could have started your life with lots of money or no money. You could have started your life surrounded by lots of money, as I was, but it not be your money. This journey that I've taken myself over and over and over again to rags to riches, riches to rags, so that I could teach this. Yay! So that you can upgrade your wealth identity and join me on that glorious space of us being either in Mexico or Bali, or 3 days of this exquisite, luxurious retreat, having effortlessly and easily paid 100 grand, because you get to spend that 1-to-1 with me or 1-to-3 with me in dinners and spas and doing amazing experiences with elephants, and that you get to have those rich, deep conversations that transform your life forever. And you get to embody that new wealth identity for yourself. Super exciting, isn't it? Woohoo! I love it. I love it. I love it. So I shall be moving through with my body, allowing it to go through these transitions. What steps will you take? The best next step is, of course, the money map. This is the Feminine Wealth Evolution Guide. It is not just a map. It is a deep level psychological, emotional, mental, and physical shift. It is showing you the 5 stages of locking in a new wealth identity, and where you are holding yourself back. And there are 8 activations and a wealth assessment, and what steps to take next. And I'm giving it away for free because it truly is the catalogue to my fashion house that is Rich, Sexy and Free. So it will show you where you can then take the next steps as well to buy something off the rack or to move to something more couture, tailored for you. Our high brand fashion house. So I welcome you to my world. You can download the free money map. Go to richsexyandfree.com. Everything's there. And of course, do reach out. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or TikTok. Any of these places are my front of house. So you can check out any of those free things. Do make sure you like, subscribe wherever you are. All the links are in the show notes, etc. And I love having you in my world. And I would love to have any comments or feedback. So reach out. Reach out, reach out, reach out, and do share this with any other woman you know, because every woman, every single woman deserves to be rich, sexy, and free. It's been great to connect with you today, but before you leave, if you want to find out more about how I can help you personally, just simply go ahead and visit richsexyandfree.com. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the podcast.